Have you ever noticed that some men who are seen as valuable tend to avoid women but seem to get more attention because of it? This isn't just them being hard to get or acting like they don't want to be liked. They really don't want to be liked. One of the most important ideas in Stoicism is that we should not care about what other people think or feel. This principle is shown by men who are truly confident in themselves and focused on their own goals. They don't care about what other people think, which makes them more desirable. Today we'll talk about why this stoic indifference makes them so attractive and how you can use these principles to improve your own life. Remember to hit the like button if you found this content helpful and share this video with others who might also find it useful. Let's start by looking at the powerful allure of genuine indifference. Number 1. They value their solitude in the world of Stoicism. Being alone is a great strength. Men of high value, a lot like the old Stoics, Philists, really value the benefits of spending time by themselves. This isn't about being lonely or sad. It's about realizing the strength and peace that come from growing as a person and reflecting on oneself. Important men know that being around other people all the time can be draining, and that true happiness comes from within. For example, Marcus Aurelius often retreated into his own thoughts to remind himself that true peace is found within, no matter what was going on in the outside world. Important men think the same way. They use their alone time to recover, think, and find balance. They don't need to seek approval from others, and they know that solitude is an important part of their mental and emotional health. These men aren't shy or antisocial. They just like being alone and don't feel obligated to hang out with other people unless they really want to. For example, a man who likes long hikes alone in nature may ignore texts or calls from a woman who needs constant attention because he puts his own needs first. He knows that by doing this, he can be more present and involved in his relationships when he wants to be. Men also avoid women who are too needy or clingy because they like being alone and want partners who respect and understand their need for privacy. A high-value man wants a partner who can stand on her own and isn't constantly trying to get his attention. This doesn't mean he doesn't want a relationship. He just wants deep ties over shallow ones. A high-worth A man might choose to spend his weekends working on a personal project or doing a hobby he loves, like painting or writing. During this time, he might turn down invitations to social events or dates if he thinks they would get in the way of his focus and peace. He's not being cold or distant. He's just respecting his need for solitude and the things that make him happy and fulfilled. These men may seem distant or detached, but that's because they don't need to be with other people all the time to be happy. They choose the relationships they spend time with carefully, making sure they are important and helpful. When a woman doesn't share their beliefs or needs too much of their time, they won't think twice about walking away. High-value men follow Stoic principles and focus on what they can control, their actions and reactions. They know that solitude is not a sign of loneliness, but a powerful tool for personal growth and resilience. By cherishing their solitude, they maintain their high value and set an example for others to follow. This approach helps them build a strong foundation of self-reliance and inner peace, which in turn makes them more attractive and magnetic to others, including women. 2. They avoid unnecessary drama. According to the Stoic tradition, a high-value man avoids unnecessary drama and focuses on what really matters in life. He knows how important it is to keep his inner peace and doesn't waste his time. He doesn't want to waste time on a woman who is always making trouble because he knows that mind games and manipulative behavior are distractions from his goal. For example, if a man is dating a woman who constantly fights over small things, he doesn't let her behavior affect his mood. Instead of reacting emotionally, he stays calm and thinks about what's going on. He knows that drama is a form of external chaos that can upset his inner peace. By practicing Stoic detachment, he doesn't let her behavior affect his mood. He wants a partner who can handle her feelings well and keep the relationship peaceful without always looking for approval from others. A man of high value likes women who are calm and can handle their own lives, like the Stoic ideal of self-sufficiency. Stoicism says that people should be able to take care of themselves and not count too much on other people to be happy. If a woman is always making trouble or is too needy, he will probably pull away. This choice may seem cold or uncaring to some, but from a Stoic point of view, it is the right one. He is aware that dating someone who is always making trouble will only add to his problems and take his attention away from his personal growth and goals. Ecce Homo said that how you respond to things is more important than what they happen to you. A high worth. This is what man lives by. He knows he can't change other people's behavior, but he can change how he reacts to it. By deciding not to get involved in drama, he protects his mental and emotional health. Focus stays on his own growth goals and the things he can control. Many people think that a high-value man is emotionally distant, but the truth is that he's just avoiding people who would cause him too much trouble. His apparent lack of interest is a way for him to protect himself and stay true to his values and priorities. Stoicism stresses the value of peace and the desire of a good life. If you can live your life without any unnecessary stresses, you can adopt the qualities of a high-value man by following the rules of Stoicism. Don't forget your goals, keep your peace inside, and don't let outside drama get in the way of your progress. If you do this, you'll attract people who share your values and accept them, letting you build connections that matter and don't involve drama. Remember that your time and energy are valuable. Don't waste them on trouble that isn't necessary. Instead, work on living a meaningful life. Peace and self-control are what a high-value man is really like. Third, they find women who are full of themselves, not appealing. One of the most important parts of being a high-value man is being able to spot lies and value realness over looks. A high-value man isn't swayed by a woman who puts on a false front to look better than she is. He can easily see through such behavior and isn't fooled by it. Instead, he'd rather spend time with someone who is honest and real. For example, John, a high-value man, meets Diana, a woman, at a social event. Diana wears the newest designer clothes, loads on makeup, and shows off her expensive jewelry. She talks about her lavish lifestyle and drops names of important people she supposedly knows. While the average man might be impressed and drawn to her, John isn't. He listens politely, but quickly realizes that Diana is projecting an image instead of showing her true self. He isn't interested in the facade she puts on because he values honesty and integrity above all. He lives by Stoic principles and has met many people who put on fake fronts, from shallow friends to people who are just looking to take advantage of him. He knows that getting involved with someone who is just playing games or trying to take advantage of him is a waste of time and energy. While some may see his behavior as aloofness or indifference, he's just discerning. He isn't drawn to people who put on fake fronts. Many fake divas and princesses try to project a flawless image with heavy makeup, flashy jewelry and designer clothes, but underneath they're often insecure and unhappy. While this might impress an average guy, it doesn't impress a genuine high-value man who practices Stoicism. He knows that true value comes from within and that real connections are built on honesty and integrity. Marcus Aurelius said that the soul is colored by its thoughts, which fits with the Stoic idea of focusing on inner values instead of outward appearances. A man of high value knows that a person's real worth comes from their character, not how they look. If you want to be like a high-value man, focus on being genuine and discernful. Ignore people who put on a fake front and look for authenticity in others. By doing this, you'll build deep relationships based on mutual respect and sincerity, just like the Stoics said you should. By taking this approach, you not only improve your own life, but you also set a standard for the kind of relationships you want to have. This discernment helps you avoid shallow interactions and fosters Stoic advice. Says that if you have high-value traits, the right kind of people will naturally come into your life. Number 4, they've been hurt before high value. Men know how important it is to keep their feelings in check. Most likely they have had mental pain in the past that makes it hard for them to trust others. That doesn't mean they're mean or cold. It just means they want to keep their personal lives safe to avoid more harm. Stoicism says that you learn to be wise through experience, and these men have learned to be careful. Imagine a respected man who trusted someone and then had their heart broken. That hurtful experience taught him to be careful, how important it is to be picky about who he lets into his life. Instead of letting this hurt make him angry, he uses it to build strong walls so that only people who deserve his trust can get close to him. This is a classic example of how to use Stoic wisdom to make yourself stronger by using past events, to make you stronger inside. A high-worth people often mistake a man's guarded nature for being cold or heartless, but in reality, he's just trying to keep himself from emotional pain. He knows it's better to stay guarded than to risk getting hurt again. This fits with Stoic ideas about emotional self-control and resilience. For example, Marcus Aurelius said that people should keep their emotions in check and not let outside events affect them. When a high-value man sees even the tiniest sign of distrust or unreliability, he will pull away to protect his feelings. This isn't fear, it's a smart plan to stay safe. He cares about his mental health, being alone and at peace with himself instead of being with someone who could hurt him. This careful method is based on Stoic ideas that stress the importance of protecting yourself and being emotionally stable. If you want to adopt these high-value traits, work on building your inner strength and resilience. Learn from your mistakes and use them to build a strong emotional foundation. Trust is earned, not given. By being careful and selective about who you let into your life, you can protect your emotional health and keep your inner peace. Just like a real Stoic high value, focusing on what they can control and letting go of what they can't is also something that men understand. They know that they can't change other people's actions or intentions, but they can change how they react and set limits. By doing this, they make sure they stay in charge of their emotional health. For example, by maintaining a high value on personal integrity. If a man is interested in a woman but feels she is sending mixed signals, he decides not to get emotionally involved and risk heartbreak. Instead, he takes a step back and watches to see if her actions match her words and if she respects his boundaries. If he senses inconsistency or a lack of genuine interest, he moves on, rather than wasting his emotional energy on someone who may not really value him. Remember that being alone is better than being with someone who doesn't care about you. Trust must be earned, and your mental health should always come first. There are 5 things that show they're focused on their purpose. Men are focused on achieving their own goals and living a meaningful life. They are not swayed by traditional expectations or the desire to settle down. Instead, they prefer to make their own way and not let others get in the way. This may seem self-centered or cocky to some, but these men just want to live an honest life by following their own rules and making decisions on their own. They have a strong sense of who they are and don't need anyone else to guide them or watch over them. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most famous Stoic thinkers. He was also the Roman emperor, but he never stopped seeking knowledge and growth for himself. Even though his job required a lot of him, he found time to write thoughts, a work that shows how much he wanted to improve himself and learn about philosophy. Marcus Aurelius didn't let his position or what other people thought of him get in the way of his goal. Instead, he focused on what was most important to him, developing his inner virtues and living by his beliefs. In the same way, today's high-value guys are often daring and flexible, not afraid to leave their comfort zones. Others may think they're crazy for being open to risk and change, but for them, it's a way to avoid a boring life. They don't want to follow the rules of society and are instead focused on personal growth and improvement. Because they are so dedicated to their purpose, high-value men often don't put much effort into romantic relationships. Women may not be a top priority for them right now because they value self-discovery and personal achievement above all else. This doesn't mean they don't care about relationships, but it does mean they know how important it is to focus on their own growth first. You can embody these high-value traits by setting clear personal goals and working hard to achieve them, even if it means going against what society says. For example, if you want to start a business, don't let romantic relationships get in the way of your progress. By doing this, you are living in line with the Stoic principle of living in line with your true self and purpose. Respect and admiration naturally come to high-value men. Women are drawn to their confidence, purpose, and self-assurance. It's not about ignoring women out of spite. It's about putting personal growth first and letting relationships develop naturally without forcing or desperation. In other words, to embrace high-value man traits, pay attention to your own goals and ways to get better. Stay true to your goal, be strong, and keep your self-discipline. By doing these things, you will not only live a full and honest life, but you will also naturally earn the respect and admiration of others, including women. Number 6. They value their independence. Highly value men who follow Stoic principles. Highly value their independence and resist anything that might limit them. This trait is important for their pursuit of a fulfilling life because it lets them fully explore their interests and connect with like-minded people without fear of judgment or control. While high-value men aren't completely against relationships, but they also won't get into one just for the sake of it. They want a partner who makes their life better, not worse. This is similar to the Stoic idea that deep connections are more important than shallow ones, and they don't want to put time and effort into a relationship that won't last. Being with someone who is too controlling or always wanting their attention doesn't appeal to them. Instead, they want a partner who fits in with their lifestyle and makes them feel free. This approach is in line with the IOC principle of living in harmony with nature and one's true self. As a result, they tend to avoid women who are too demanding or needy, saving their time and energy for things that really matter to them. By adopting these Stoic traits, they stay independent and avoid the pitfalls of toxic relationships. Think about the Stoic practice of focusing on what you can control. High-value men. Using this principle, people should choose partners who respect their independence and help them grow. For example, if you're an entrepreneur working hard to build your business, having a partner who understands and respects your hard work is very important. This will not only help you focus on your goals, but it will also ensure that your relationship is based on mutual respect and understanding. You don't need someone who is always pulling you away from your goals. High-value men know this and look for partners who support their independence and growth. For example, if you're a writer who works hard at your craft, you wouldn't want a partner who demands all of your time and attention and gets in the way of your writing. By adopting this Stoic attitude, you can better prioritize your own personal growth and well-being, find relationships that give you energy, and stay away from ones that drain it. This way, you can make sure that your path to self-improvement stays uninterrupted and satisfying, just like the Stoic philosophers who put their inner peace and freedom above all else. In essence, cherishing your independence means recognizing your worth and not settling for anything that goes against your values and goals. Men of high-value Stoics know that their independence is an important part of who they are, so they fiercely protect it. They know that true happiness comes from within and is enhanced by relationships that respect and nurture their freedom. So, take a cue from the Stoics. Value your independence and choose partners who celebrate your journey instead of getting in the way of it. Number 7. They're not interested in certain people. Important men often don't talk to women because they're not interested. It's not that the women are doing anything wrong. These men may just not find her interesting or attractive. Important men are very picky when it comes to finding a partner. They don't want to waste their time and energy on someone who doesn't interest them. This isn't just a matter of surface-level preferences. They really know what they want and won't pursue a woman who doesn't meet their standards. From a Stoic point of view, high-value men know how important it is to act in a way that is consistent with their values and principles. They look for partners who can intellectually and physically stimulate them and who can offer different views. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to the things we can change and let go of the things we can't. This means that they shouldn't force themselves to like someone who doesn't meet their standards. Think about a high-value man who meets a woman at a social event. She is nice and friendly, but her main goal seems to be to please him and agree with everything he says. While this might be appealing to some, he doesn't like that she doesn't have any independence or different opinions. He wants a partner who can push him and give him new ideas. Someone with their own ideas, who isn't afraid to say what they think. For him, this kind of mental and emotional activity is very important. By taking a Stoic stance, he stays true to his values and doesn't settle for less than what makes him happy. Important men are interested in women who are sure of themselves and have a strong sense of self. They like it when a woman is happy in her own skin and doesn't feel the need to constantly seek approval. This is in line with the Stoic principle of self-reliance and inner strength. Guys who value women and respect them, who are passionate about and interested in their own things, and don't depend on a friendship for their happiness. They really like women who are strong and independent. Very good deal. Men also know that relationships should be good for both people, not just one person. They look for partners who can help them grow and with whom they can share a meaningful connection. This is another reason why they might not date women who don't meet their standards. They don't want relationships that drain their energy or take their attention away from their goals. Instead, they want partnerships that make their lives better and fit with their long-term vision. Remember to stick to your values and principles. Don't go after women just to have a partner. Instead, try to find someone who really connects with you and challenges you mentally and emotionally. This will help you build relationships that are more meaningful and fulfilling. Know your worth and don't settle for less. It's okay to be picky and wait for the right person who shares your values and goals. If you work on your own growth and stay true to your values, you will naturally attract the right kind of people into your life. 9. They don't look for validation from women. Important men know that their worth comes from within, not from what other people think of them. They don't need praise or approval from women to feel good about themselves. Instead, they focus on their own growth and virtues. Their deep confidence and sense of self-worth make them stand out and make them very beautiful. Marcus Aurelius, a famous Stoic philosopher, stressed the importance of knowing yourself and being accepted by yourself. He felt that living by your values and not trying to please other people is the only way to be truly happy. Important. As an example, men follow this principle by staying true to who they are and not changing how they look or act to impress others. Imagine a high-value man going to a social event. While other men might change how they act to get a woman's attention, this man stays true to himself. He talks to people who interest him, acts normally, and doesn't feel the need to conform to what society expects of him. He is honest because he knows that his worth doesn't rest on what other people think of him. Women may use their beauty and charm to get men to do what they want, but this doesn't work with high-value men. They know that a woman's looks are temporary and superficial, so instead of being moved by her looks, they look at her character and values. A high-value man knows that relationships based on looks alone don't last and aren't satisfying. Instead, he looks for deeper qualities in the women he dates to make sure that their relationships are important. To give you another example, think about a man who does Stoic exercises like negative visualization and journaling on a daily basis. These help him keep his mind on what's important and not give in to pressures from outside sources. Negative visualization, for example, he saw what I was doing by imagining problems and hurdles that might happen. This helps him get ready to deal with them. Grace and composure journaling helps him think about his actions and thoughts, which strengthens his commitment to his values. By doing these things, he develops a mind that is not easily moved by outside approval. High-value men also understand the idea of amor fati, which means love of fate. They accept and embrace their situations, including how they interact with women, without trying to control or change them to get approval. This acceptance leads to a calm and confident personality that is naturally attractive. They don't chase after women or try to impress them because they know that their worth doesn't depend on what other people think of them. Instead, they focus on being the best version of themselves by embracing high-value traits. These men show that their self-worth comes from within and isn't based on external validation. They don't pursue women to get their approval. Instead, they focus on their own growth and integrity. This way of thinking not only attracts women, but also builds real, meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and admiration. In essence, high-value men are the Stoic ideal of inner strength and self-reliance. They don't seek validation from women or anyone else. Their confidence and self-assurance come from sticking to their values and principles, which makes them truly admirable and strong people. They know that true attractiveness comes from within, and that a meaningful life is built on self-respect, integrity, and personal growth. The ideas of Stoicism are clearly not limited to old theories. They are also very useful in understanding how society works today. High-value men who are independent, have a purpose, and don't care about what other people think are attractive. This kind of confidence comes from being truly sure of yourself. So these men aren't just ignoring women to seem elusive. They're deeply involved in their own lives, working toward personal growth and meaningful goals. Their lack of need for approval makes their attention very valuable and their presence magnetic. This isn't about ignoring others. It's about putting personal integrity and self-respect first. By working on themselves and keeping a clear sense of who they are, they naturally attract people who value honesty and depth. We've talked about how these traits not only make a person happier, but also make them more attractive to others. Having these high-value traits means building a life full of meaning, resilience, and independence. Remember that the goal isn't to ignore other people, but to become someone who people respect and admire by working on yourself and staying true to your ideals. If you found today's lessons useful, please like this video to help the channel. Leave a comment below with your ideas or stories about the subject of today's post. Do you live by Stoic principles? If so, how has that changed the way you deal with others and your relationships? As we continue our talk, please watch the videos on your screen right now if you want to learn more about how Stoicism can help you live a better life. sign up and click the notice button. Click the bell to get our newest videos that will help you live a happier, more valued life. Thanks for watching, and remember, on the way to becoming a high-value person, you have to keep growing and learning about yourself. Stick to your plan, and the right people will come to you. Keeps your real self safe.